Welcome back to the Panic Room, everyone, for a very special Valentine's Day video today. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about romance. Well, kinda. So a little bit of backstory. Under one of my videos, I received a comment asking me to essentially do like a best couples out of the books I read. Now, when I tell you I agonized over this, I'm not lying. I stayed on my Goodreads for an ungodly amount of time, going back through some of the books I read and just could not think of an idea for a video on how to do that. So what I decided to do for this video is to take a little bit of inspiration from a lot of places. Thankfully, I'm a lucky girl that has a lot of very creative friends, so there's that. So this video is going to be a little bit of a mishmash. So think of it like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So I thought for the first half of this video we could do a ranking. You know, I did want to do a little bit of what the comment asked. So we are going to do like a best couple, worst couple, and various other categories. I actually have 6 categories that we're going to talk about. And then for the second half of the video, I wanted to do some horror romance recommendations. Now this is inspired by my friend John over at Books of Blood. If you haven't checked out his Horror Across America series, it's amazing, and he is recommending books that he both has and has not read that are set in various states across the USA, which I think is fantastic. It's a wonderful series. You should check it out. But, you know, it occurred to me that I can recommend horror romance even though I've never read a horror romance. Now, of course, how the hell do you do that, right? So I am lucky enough to have a friend over on Romance Booktube by the name of Brandy, and she runs Brandy Rants and Reads. I like her. I like her personality. No, we don't read the same kind of stuff, but that's okay. I like her personality, and she's funny. So yeah, I reached out to her, and she was amazing, as all my friends are, and gave me a bunch of recommendations, one of which was to check out this channel, The Book Refuge. And she specifically recommended 2 videos that The Book Refuge had done about like killer romance, psychopathic romance, things like that, which was exactly what I needed. So I watched both of those videos, and I'm going to recommend 2 series that stood out to me. And of course I will link all this down below, but you know, I will preface this by saying I haven't read them, but they sounded really awesome when the Book Refuge was talking about them, and I feel like they have some horror-esque elements that maybe my horror people will like. So if you're looking for something to read for the Valentine's Day romance month, perhaps check those out. But without further ado, let's get into some of these categories, shall we? Obviously, there will be no spoilers for the books I talk about today. I'm not going to go into any real detail about the books. This is just me putting various people and couples in categories based on how I perceived them. So let's start off with worst couple. That's romantic, right? So for worst couple, this was probably the easiest one because when I was thinking of couples, this is the first one that jumped to my mind because it was traumatizing. And that is Sandy and Carl from The Devil All the Time. Now, I have a full review for this book. Check it out. If you don't want spoilers, check out the vlog for it. But Sandy and Carl are, in a word, disgusting. Now, part of me kind of feels sorry for Sandy, but that goes out the window the longer you read about him because she's just an idiot that could have walked away at any time. Carl, on the other hand, is disgusting and vile. They're both terrible, don't get me wrong, but the whole reason I gave them the worst couple, besides the fact that they're hugely toxic for each other and, you know, it's essentially chock full of abuse and all kinds of other horrific things, they're gross. So if you watch my review for The Devil All the Time, the book that I was introduced to Sandy and Carl in, I literally gag when I talk about the scene with Carl and Sandy, or one of them, I should say. It involves his toenails. Yeah. Ugh. They're gross, okay? Just everything and anything that could possibly be bad about a couple, they really embody, okay? So, worst couple, Sandy and Carl from The Devil All the Time. So let's do best couple. We'll turn the positivity up just a notch here. Now, this is a book that I've never reviewed because I've read it ages ago. My boyfriend actually recommended these books to me, and these are probably the most recent-esque sci-fi that I've read. So for any of you out there looking for something along that line, I've mentioned this in various videos in passing, but it is The John Dies at the End. There's a series, but the first book is called John Dies at the End. That's not really a spoiler, don't worry. That's the title of the book. But in that book series, the 2 main characters are John and Dave Dave has a girlfriend by the name of Amy. And I love them. They're just quirky and weird. Amy only has one hand, and there's a big thing, there's like a whole thing around that I'm not going to get into. That book is amazing. The second book is called This Book is Full of Spiders, and it's amazing too. It's actually probably my favorite out of the John and Dave series. But you can't read that one without reading John Dies at the End. So if I have at all enthralled you with a one-handed girlfriend, you should go check it out. It's absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I could ever do a review on it because it is out there. It is trippy. It's got some string theory happening. It's got some science fiction. It's got some body horror. It's all there. Go read it. It's awesome. There's a movie out too. Don't watch the movie until you've read it, okay? The movie's like meh, but it will ruin the book for you. Read the book, okay? If you at all are interested, read the book. It's only, I want to say it's only like 350, 400 pages. It's not insanely long. And trust me, it will keep you reading. So I digress. I gave Best Couple to Dave and Amy because they're so easy with one another, you know? And they fit perfectly. Like, Dave's really weird, Amy's really weird, but their weirdness works. And the one thing I really love about them is they're not perfect. They're not perfect. Later on in the series, they have a few, like, couple-y type problems, you know? Things that are normal. And that makes me love them all the more because they're like real people. But anyway, Dave and Amy. I love their little quirkiness. I love the realness about them. I just think they're great. So the Best Couple goes to Dave and Amy. John Dies at the End. Okay, so Worst Boyfriend is up next. So we read about a lot of really crazy dudes, right? So I tried to keep this in a more recent read, and one that stuck out to me was Sam from the book Cackle. I know, you're probably like, oh, what is he, a serial killer? No, he's nothing. He's none of that. He's just an absolute anus. And he's cocky. He's cocky. That's probably what won him this for me, is the fact that he's cocky. I hate cocky people. You know, like, I really do. And he's really manipulative of his girlfriend Annie, who happens to be the narrator of the book. Now, is it because we're seeing him through Annie's eyes? Possibly. But you know what? That's all we have to go on. And he's a piece of shit in that book. So, Worst Boyfriend, Sam from Cackle. Okay, now the Best Boyfriend. Now, when I thought of this, when I came upon this book in my little, you know, like, walk down memory lane, I was like, why the hell didn't I think of this guy right off the bat? Santiago from Certain Dark Things. Again, I did a review of that book if you want to know more, but Santiago he's a very young man. I think he's only like 17. And his just devotion and, I don't know, just the purity of his love in that book will just bowl you over. Like, I absolutely love him. Pure is really the only word I can think to describe it. I love him. He has that bravery that's born out of the love of another person, and you know, that acceptance, like, I don't give a shit who you are, what you've done, I love you for you, that all of us, you know, that's what we strive for. You know, he has that, and it's wonderful. And he's sweet, and you just want to hug him and squeeze him, and yeah, so that's why he won Best Boyfriend. Santiago from Certain Dark Things. Okay, so Worst Girlfriend. I'm smiling because the girl that I picked is just, I don't know if worst could really encompass how bad she would be in a relationship. Mostly because she's a psychopath. But I picked Irina from Boy Parts. And, oh my gosh, if you've read that book, you know. You know. I'm not even sure she's capable of friendship, let alone a romantic relationship. She is incredibly manipulative, and she is everything that you expect a sociopath to be in a relationship. You know, just absolutely in it for herself in every capacity. Like, that's not just like word vomit. No, she is in it for herself in every situation, in every conceivable way. It's all about her, in her head. You almost really just have to read it because she is so sociopathic that the very idea of her loving, hell, a goldfish is so just outlandish, you know? Let alone like another human being, like actually worrying about their feelings. It's so out of the realm of possibility for this character that it's almost funny. So yeah, Worst Girlfriend, Irina, Boy Parts. And the Best Girlfriend. Now, this one I took a little bit of liberty with the word girlfriend because this one is less in like a romantic relationship, kinda, but this is more like a good girlfriend. You know, like friends. And for this one, I picked Flora from The Girls Are Also Nice Here. That was one of my like weirder reads because the horror in that book really stems from the fact that this shit happens to people in college. And it was centered around, you know, just the venom that women can have for each other. And yet Flora, being the kind-hearted soul that she was, kind of rose above all of that. She embodied this purity, again, I go back to that word, this kindness in the face of whatever was happening at the time. And I really respect that. You know, up until the end of her character arc in that book, she really retained herself in the face of all of these girls trying to be things that they weren't. And I respected that. You know, I really did. And I think that, you know, because she was in a relationship in the book, and I think that she did well with that. You know, I think she tried to be herself in that relationship and not change for a man or change for her friends. And that is really, to me, a characteristic of a good person. Don't change yourself. If you have to change yourself for someone, chances are that's not the person you're supposed to be with. Either friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. If you have to change yourself for them, you're not supposed to be there. And there's Pax's romance advice for your Valentine's Day. So that is it for our categories. So let's get into the second half of this video. The horror romance recommendations. I know, what could Pax possibly have to offer when it comes to romance? Well, again, I have to really thank Brandy and the Book Refuge. Without Brandy's help leading me into the Book Refuge's videos, I would have been at a loss. But I am going to recommend 2 series that I got from the Book Refuge's video. So the first one is the Kirimura Chronicles. Now my notes just say this is about mafias and psychopaths. If you want to know more about these books, go check out her video. The reason I'm not going to give you a huge synopsis of these books is because I don't read romance. Alright? I wrote down the parts that I feel like would appeal to me or possibly another horror lover. But if you want to know more, check out her video because she goes way more into it. She appears to be very like familiar with this world, with this series. And so I really want to defer to her, you know, as far as that goes, because she is somebody who reads romance. She knows what she's talking about. Okay? So again, my notes say mafias, psychopaths, and one of the characters she describes as being dead inside. Yeah. So I don't know if that's like legit, like zombie shit, or if they just feel that way. I'm not sure. But it sounded intriguing. So that's my first recommendation, the Kirimura Chronicles. Now the second one sounded really intriguing to me. It is also a series, and it is called Necessary Evils. Now when I describe this to you, again, check out her video for more detail. But to me, it almost sounded like a horror Umbrella Academy kind of deal. Because this book series is like all about this guy who wants to get a team of psychos, like legit psychos, like serial killers and shit, to be like vigilante killers. And I think what she said in her video is like the team, when they get together, they go out and they kill these people that deserve it, that do terrible, horrible things that I'm not going to mention here. But yeah, so, and each book is told by like a different member of the team, which I enjoy as like a shtick in my books, especially with series. So yeah, I thought that sounded interesting. You know, I'm sure there's probably a lot more to it than that, but I thought that sounded really cool, like a team of psychos. I could get on board with that, all things considered. So yeah, second recommendation, Necessary Evils. So guys, that's it for my like horror romance recommendations. I know it's only 2, but they are series, so it kind of is more than 2 books, depending on how you want to look at it. So guys, please be gentle with this video. I came real close to not even filming this because I feel like it was really out of my wheelhouse. And thank God for Brandy, you know, really without her help, this would have never happened. However, I did want to do something like this, because I had a comment requesting something like this, and I do want you guys to know that I listen to you. I want to give you the kind of stuff that you want to watch. So that was one of the biggest reasons. And 2, I'm sure that there are horror lovers out there that are looking for romance horror, you know, in our little month of love or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, you know, maybe this can be helpful to someone. But guys, thanks so much for hanging out for a very special Valentine's Day video today. Please like and subscribe. It would really help me out. And until next time, bye for now.